Have you ever been called or called anyone an angry woman? This is for you. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Cut to the Chase with Baharak, who is me by the way. Today we're going to talk about something that I personally really a lot believe in. And that is, I actually don't have a name for it, but I can explain it very well. You know, we have something called feminism, and many people, including many women, think that means being angry and being anti-men. They think when we say, and by the way, I don't consider myself a feminist if that is the definition of feminism. But that is not the definition of feminism. Here's the thing. For a very long time, men and the race here not necessarily is important. All men in any sorts were thinking they are superior than women. They were like, okay, just because I do have a penis, I can treat and be with any women I want. And I also can treat them like shit. They don't matter. They just need to give birth to a baby and birth them and just raise the baby. And that is all their job. But time passes and life goes on and people change. So one day some women woke up from this crazy nightmare and they said, look, I'm actually, if not better, pretty equal to you, dumbhead. And they were like asking for their rights, their natural rights. Like no one, absolutely no one should be treated differently because of who they are, obviously. And women spoke up and asked for their rights. And because for a very long time, those stupid men were very aggressive to these women, they were listening to these women asking for their rights. So these women needed to be more serious, be louder, you know? So, and superly, right? Being more angry because no one were listening. So, they called this asking for their rights, for their natural rights, feminism. And there is no anti-manism in the feminism. If any feminist is doing that, they're doing it all wrong. All women are asking for is equality, and equality doesn't mean that we want to do what men should do. For example, running for office is something women can do too, but some dumbhead women and men, okay? They say, okay, well, now you're saying you want equality, you need to know that you should pay your cut everything in half because you're fucking equal. But what I'm trying to say here is that there is something called femininity. Femininity. There is something called femininity, and there is something called masculinity. And there are females and males. They operate in different ways, and by equality, no one, absolutely no one means that men now should not take any freaking responsibility and women should be in charge of everything. No, this isn't even balanced. This isn't right. We're just saying, see us as human beings, not just objects. Okay? So, if you've ever been called an angry woman because you were asking for your right, be more angry, because you weren't angry. You were just asking for your right. And sometimes people tend to call women these things to shut them up. And if you've ever called someone that because they were simply just asking for the rights, know that you are very, very cheap in personality. And something else is that there's no war. Women and men are not against each other. We are a team. We need to learn to operate together and build lives together. But for a very long time, it was sort of, women were like servants and there were no respect for women. And believe me, I believe this. And I've seen this, and I don't care who agrees and who don't. Marilyn Monroe, for example, she was very beautiful and sexy. We all know that. And in many parties, she was treated differently by men than other women. Like men were treating her with more respect than other women because of her beauty and sexuality. But was it really respect? I believe Marilyn Monroe was never respected in her entire life. So don't many women today. Men tend to treat women differently when they are more beautiful, when they are sexier, okay, in a sense. And I think that is more disrespectful to that specific woman than any other behavior. So there is so much more to this subject, but I'm just here to say no one is angry and no one is fighting if people were just listening. If people were just sitting for a sec and actually listening to the subjects being said. So next time you want to call someone angry, just listen to them first, and then if they were not right, then you can say something else. That's that for today. You're my besties. I love you guys. Bye.